Okay. That should have us live. Here we go. Live and in color. Okay, can you hear us and can you see us?
I can hear you.
That's all I want to know. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you see me? All right. All right, all right. You want to turn that off, baby? You can.
I will if I need it.
And it's kind of loud.
I know.
You already went to it. Okay, everybody, how you doing out there in YouTube land? I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to refresh, bounce around, come in here again, and
I'll tell you how I feel.
We'll get down to business. I want to take this time to thank everybody that has come over and has subscribed to us and liked us on Instagram. Robyn's getting closer to her goal. She's at 1,300, right? Mm-hmm. And her goal is to have 2,000. So she's 700 away.
Yep.
700 followers away. And so if you guys could, please, because of all of the tobacco, if you guys could share the link, share it, let everybody know where we are and that we are live now. And
so many great names. I'm not going to try and name them all. Hi, everybody.
Leap of Faith, Homestead, Amy Bullock, Duncan, Mary Hart, Southern Blessed Homestead, Overlook Homestead, Linda Reiner, McClendon Homestead, Lone Star, Life with Linda, Beaver Creek, Anita, Amy, Crystal Creek, reap what you sow. Gonna get a room makeover when we come down. So, Celtic Nana. So, Lonely Prepper.
I'm here lurking. He always lurks. I told him he needs to start announcing himself because I hate when, like, he'll text me afterwards and be like, that was a great show. And I'm like, well, you didn't say anything. I didn't even know you were in there. So I gave him a hard time about that.
So,
before anybody makes any jokes, there is nothing in here except for cherry Coke.
Yep, that's all she can have. No, she can't have anything else in there right now.
Y'all always making jokes, so I just want to make sure everybody is clear. I made sure that my cup was, not that it would matter, but if my cup is see-through, you can see what's in there. Speaking of which, Green Dreamer, y'all going on after us? We hadn't heard from him this week. I know he said something about it being regular, but...
Being a regular thing. Before, we're starting to get, everybody's starting to come in, and so while everybody's coming in, I want to take this time, and there has been a tragedy in the homesteading community this morning. Zach over at Stiver's Homestead was on his way to the Hootenanny. Some people say he was there. Some people said he was almost there, but he was headed up there to Michigan and got a call this morning that his father unexpectedly passed away from a massive heart attack.
Yeah.
So, what I would like to do, I've reached out to him, haven't heard anything back from him. I wasn't really expecting to. I would like for us to take a moment of silence. Let's let the chat stop for just a minute to honor Zach's father, and let's say a little prayer, and then we will get in to our week this week. So if we could, let's let the chat just stop for a moment, and let's take a moment of silence. Father God, we come to you tonight as a group mourning the pain of one of our family members. Lord, Zach Stiver, as you know, his father came to join you this morning. Lord, and we ask that you just put your loving and healing hands around that entire family. Lord, give them peace with the situation. Lord, let them ease their pain, Lord. Let them be able to rejoice that his father has come home to be with you. Lord, we ask that you watch over Zach and his wife as they go from Michigan back to home, and all of the Stivers family as they all congregate there for the services, Lord. And we ask that everything gets handled without any hiccups, Lord, any mishaps, and the services go off without a hitch, and you are glorified through all of this. It is in your Son's name that we pray. Amen. Amen. So, I got the new...
Your hat shows your ponytail.
Leave my hat alone. Leave my hat alone.
Your hat, it's so funny because it's sticking up.
Leave my hat alone.
That's so funny.
I got the call early this morning. I believe it was Mimsy. Mm-hmm. Mimsy gave us
we were out driving.
The call. What's up, 180?
That's probably Sarah.
And then Chris called me.
Short of a man bun. We're getting there.
And
Homestead hair goals.
Chris made a comment. He said, "Brother, it happens in threes. So please, everybody, y'all be mindful of your situations and everything, because this week was hard for everybody." I am personally going to do a vlog on Monday to give you my side of what went down this week with Robyn. I'm going to share all my feelings. I'm probably going to get a bunch of sawdust in my eye. But tonight, everybody has been bombarding us, asking, how Robyn is doing, and we love that. We appreciate that.
I was going to say bombarding seems like it has a negative connotation. I don't take it the wrong way. We appreciated every bit of it. So,
but I want to let Robyn share how everything went down, how she's feeling, the good, the bad, the ugly, and she may get some sawdust in her eyes, and that's okay, because I'm prepared. So, take it away, my love.
So Wednesday, I went to visit one customer who had a tower that I needed. I took that tower, loaded it up in my vehicle, along with all of the samples that are 6x12.
Tell them what a tower is. And
it's
what you're talking about
a display tower for samples, and they're about 12, so probably like 14 inches to 16 inches wide. I don't know, 6 feet tall maybe.
of granite.
No. Well, it's a wire rack first. Right. Then you put, it holds 6 by 12 pieces, and they're usually 3/4 of an inch. Some of them were a little bit smaller. There was one that was 1.25 inches. So I had all those loaded in the back of the vehicle. And I wasn't going far. It was maybe 20 miles, 25 miles, I don't know, from the one location to the other location. And I was driving down it's not a major highway, but it is for that area through Clemson into Seneca. And I was just driving straight down the highway, had cruise control set, and green light, just going down the highway, and I saw this car pull out, and so I tried to avoid her and swerved over because I was in the right hand lane. I swerved to avoid her, but I didn't avoid her. I clipped the front end of her car, and when I did, it sent me spinning backwards. I don't remember, any of y'all that have been in a crazy accident like this can probably empathize and know what I'm talking about. I don't remember if I just spun backwards once or if I spun around more than once, but I know that at one point I was looking at what would have been oncoming traffic, and went down onto the shoulder, and on the shoulder was grass, and so when I slid to the grass, it started to roll. And again, I don't remember if I only rolled, it doesn't seem like I only rolled a half. I would have had to roll 1.5 times because I landed suspended on my top. So everything was tossing around inside the car, everything flying everywhere. And it feels, at one moment it seems like everything is going so fast, and then another moment it seems like it's going slow. The next thing I remember is trying to get out of my seatbelt, even though my brain normally knows that there's a pin in the seatbelt that's not going to let me undo my seatbelt. I couldn't get, because I was upside down, I couldn't get to my purse. Even my purse was, God knows where my purse was. I have a Leatherman in my purse, but couldn't get to that. Was trying to get out of my seat. About that time, I heard some banging on the glass, and they were asking me if I could, if I was okay, and I felt fine. I was just kind of dazed, kind of shocked, didn't understand what had just happened, because the last I knew, I had a green light, and now I'm upside down. I still can't comprehend that, because I keep trying to play that over and over in my head, and I still see a green light and see this car coming out of the side, and I still can't understand how it happened. So they knocked on the glass. I had to unlock the car. They opened up the door, reached across me, and unlocked my belt. And then I crawled out of the car, and got up. And immediately everybody that was there was like, are you okay? Are you all right? And, first, if you've ever been in anything like this, your first reaction is everything is okay. I'm walking, I'm talking, I'm a little shaken up, but I'm fine. I couldn't see any blood, nothing like that. Head was fine, my neck felt okay, everything was good. I was wearing my seatbelt, so everything was all right. And then the EMTs came, they checked me out, they didn't see any blood or anything. They asked me if I wanted to go to the hospital, but again, at this point, I was so hopped up on adrenaline that I was fine. I was perfectly fine. I was a little shaky. I had to get a hold of Jason, get a hold of my boss, and let her know what was going on. And then, and then it just kind of gets a little, it's not really fuzzy, but it was hot outside, not super hot, but I was wearing black pants. I remember feeling the sun on me. Somebody brought me a bottle of water. They came over and asked me, what happened, and I told them, just like I told y'all. And then, I was fortunate enough that I was close to where I was supposed to be. So the lady that was supposed to meet me, she came down to talk to me and watch over me. And in the meantime, there was kind of a mishap where one of my other customers found out that I had had the accident, and the two owners came down and they sat with me for a while. And that's when I realized I really needed to go to the hospital, because they had got me over to their truck. And so I had sat down, and of course that was when it kind of all started to hit me what was going on. And I started having a little bit of pain in my lower right hand side of my back, and my arms started to hurt, and just all of a sudden I had this overwhelming, like I could feel everything on my right side was I was aware of all of it. And then I felt like, and again, I don't know if everybody's like this, but I felt like I had a compression suit on, like everything was being squeezed all at once. They told me that, my blood pressure obviously was through the roof, at least for me, because when I got back to being calm when we were in the ER, the bottom number had gone from like 90 something to 60 something. So, I definitely had changed a lot as far as my blood pressure went. So and then of course they came over and told me that the other driver said that she had a green light too. So nobody has been given any fault in the accident. Can't prove it because nobody has any witnesses or a camera or anything like that. So it's just kind of, it is what it is. But we went, Jason hadn't made it to the crash site before they came and picked me up and took me to the hospital. So the ambulance came and got me. They took me up to the hospital with the intention that I would be seen right away because I was going by ambulance, which did not happen. We were in the ER waiting room for an hour.
Too long.
Yeah, we were in there for a while. They told me I felt very nauseous, and I still, I probably went through that for the first day and a half. They say that when you have an accident like that your body will drop a bunch of acid down in your stomach. And I had lunch at around 12, and this happened almost at 2 o'clock. So I had food in my stomach, but I kept, dry heaving, kept happening. So, which hospital?
Oconee Memorial.
In Seneca. So they finally took us back. It wasn't a full-fledged room. Isn't that a concussion? So they did a test, didn't see anything, but we're pretty sure I had a mild concussion. It's to be expected when you get bounced around the way that I did. What?
I love you.
What? One of the things that was kind of scary, I don't know if anybody's seen the picture, but we were talking about those granite samples. Those samples were tossed in the car as well. And even though they were in the very back of the car seat, in the back of the car, they still ended up just behind the passenger seat. Or behind the driver's seat.
Behind the driver's seat. They missed you by millimeters.
So I think it was more than that. But when you're scared, it looks like that. But it was close. So definitely thank God for protecting me from that, because it could have been a heck of a lot worse than it was. Yeah, right. Flying objects in the car. Yeah. So, and then, and that was, the other thing is trying to notify everybody what was going on and what was happening. And I basically shut down. Once I told my boss and my husband what where I was, and thank God for, you guys always complain. I know we all complain about Google and the internet having so much power over us. In this situation, it was probably the best thing that could have happened, because as soon as when somebody texts you and says, "Where are you?" if you have a certain, I don't know if it's a certain setting or whatever, but something comes up with a little G, like if you have your location on, and all I had to do was push that G. I didn't have to give any kind of, and I didn't know it until afterwards, but when one of my customers asked me where was I just pushed that little, I think it's called pulse or something, I don't know. Anyway, I pushed that little button, and it gave her the exact coordinates of where I was and gave her directions straight to where I was. If I had known that would work when Jason knows, and I know, if you ever text, "Where are you?" And I think if you have your location on, I think it'll come up. And so I was able to click on that. She knew how to get a hold of me. With Jason, I had to just tell him, this is where I was heading. You're just going to have to, you'll see the accident. You just have to head in that direction. You'll find it. And so, yeah. So that's pretty much it. Aftermath, we went to the hospital, went through a lot of tests. Are you going to put a cage or partition up to help keep samples? That's probably going to be discussed. I think Jason wanted to talk to my boss about, helping them come up with something that they can put together for that. That would probably be the easiest way to fix it, don't you think? Yeah, it would be to put some kind of cage.
It's going to have to be fastened to the body of the car or to the frame of the car. Mm-hmm. Those granite like that. She has a little small box. It's about the. It's about the medium size. The best way to be able to represent it is the medium size, flat rate box.
It's a 12 by 12 box. It's 12 inches by 12 inches by 12.
And the Mamma Jamma is heavy.
Yeah. Okay,
you're probably talking 70, 80, 90 pounds. And
it doesn't give. That's the
right.
bigger thing. A lot of times it takes an act of Congress to break it. And some of these, and actually y'all are all talking, y'all don't even realize this, it wasn't granite. It was quartz. And quartz is even tougher.
Yeah.
So it doesn't weigh as much as granite, but it's tougher. Doesn't break as easily. So, but yeah.
And so I'm going to go into work with her on Monday and talk to her boss about fabricating something, coming up with some type of design, whether they let me make it or not, but to help them come up with some type of a design, because they didn't have it in her car. So that means all the salesmen that are driving company cars, the salespersons, the salespeople, they are also now at a risk.
Well, you never think of that.
Because, nobody ever thinks about stuff like this. Mm-hmm. And,
okay, so she says, I was worried when I heard you were in an accident. My friend installs granite counters, and they have cages in their vans and trucks. Yeah. So the thing is that it definitely makes everybody aware that it is, and it can be an issue. So that's something good that came out of this, is that, it's definitely a talking point to say, hey, this is something we haven't thought of before. We need to come up with something. Mm-hmm. So that's good.
And so,
would 100 new chicks make you feel better, Robyn? No.
Don't.
Not 100. Maybe like 50, but not 100. 100 would be too much. I could manage like 25 to 50, but 100 would be too many.
Really? Look how big of a smile you got just thinking about 100 chicks. Mama grows, mama grows, mama grows.
So anyway, so the aftermath, we went to the hospital. It seemed like forever before we were actually seen by the doctor. Mm-hmm. Like, it seemed like it took forever. And then it took even longer to go ahead and get them to start running all the tests that the doctor said they were going to do.
B-lady, that question to that is always yes with her. Mm-hmm. She would, if it was, I'm so dehydrated, here's a glass of water, or here's 10 chicks, my wife is going to die from dehydration because she's going to choose the 10 chicks.
Yeah. So, you say that it goes long, but for real, we got there probably before 3, and we weren't out of there until after 8.
Yeah.
That was 5 hours.
And in their defense, it's not like they were just sitting around the water cooler.
No, they were super busy.
And this was something that I have been debating, because Robyn and I have been, of course, with her being home. Once I got all the stuff done, I'll openly admit, I have been a helicopter husband since I finally found her. Openly admit it, not gonna deny it, and I'm not even ashamed of it. And so Robyn and I have been having a lot of conversations. And Robyn and I are going to do a podcast. And so I've been debating whether or not to talk about this subject on the podcast. And that hospital, this small town hospital.
Yeah, it's not a big town.
Was swamped.
Mm-hmm. There was a lot of indigent care, and we saw a couple prisoners. Yeah. So they definitely service a lot of different people.
Yeah. And there was nurses in there, probably from the age range to late 60s, early 70s, to just graduating from nursing school. Mm-hmm. And we had the door open there for a little while because Robyn didn't want to feel all closed in. And they were scooting as they was walking by the room.
Yeah.
They weren't just lollygagging. No. They were moving with a sense of urgency.
Yeah, let me clarify. I'm not complaining. It just took a very long time. Yeah. And when you're in pain, and here's the other thing. Because I was working, it was workman's comp, so I had to take a drug test. So they wouldn't let me drink. Well, they wouldn't let me drink anything because of me having an accident at first. And then 2, they wouldn't give me any pain medicine because of the drug test. So I had to basically sit there, and just kind of wait. And that was the hard part, was because I was so uncomfortable and they didn't have a full bed. So, like, my feet were hanging out. I mean, this is just me. But, like, my feet hanging off the side was driving me crazy. I was trying to pull my feet up. And Jason's like, no, you got to keep your feet down. And, I mean, it was...
And I tried to distract her. I went and got one of those because she had on sandals. Okay? And her feet, from walking around and all the dust and the dirt and everything, her feet were nasty. And so I got one of those, those half... moon
the puke
puke things that when they hand it to you when you're getting ready to blow chunks, and you look at the lady like, really? I'm not even going to get halfway through the first and this is going to be full. I grabbed one of those, I put some soap in it, got some warm water, and I took a bunch of paper towels and I washed her feet. And so I was able to put her feet up on my thighs and was able to wash her feet to help her calm down and not focus on that so much. And so I think that helped a little bit. And but it was just basically a waiting game. And I know I was getting on those doctors' nerves, because when they would come in, I was asking them questions, all kinds of questions. And but they took really good care of my wife, because if they weren't, I'd probably be in jail. But I think that they did a really good job taking care
especially
of me.
The one that was assigned to me. Like, when we finally got all the tests back and everything was okay, she could tell. I mean, like, my color was not good. I was still like white, and she could see that I was very weak. I had completely succumbed to the adrenaline at that point, and was just I know I told the same stories like 10 or 15 times, which I may do it once or twice, but like not that much. But I couldn't stop myself from saying the same thing over and over again. And she looked at me and she's like, "Darling, are you okay?" And I'm like, I'm just very weak. I said, I'm borderline hypoglycemic, and I haven't eaten since 12, and it's almost 8 o'clock. And so, and my problem is that I was hungry, but I couldn't imagine eating food. Like, I was just...
We had a bigger, and I don't know if you thought about it, you probably didn't think about this, but we had a bigger problem than that. Remember earlier in the week, we had to get our debit cards shut off.
Yeah.
And so...
We were still waiting on our cards.
We were still waiting on our cards.
Hadn't got them yet.
And I had no way to feed her. I had a couple of checks in my wallet left, and those were the last couple of checks that we had. And so we were like, I was like, well, we can just go to Ingles. We can go through their little cafeteria thing. I can zip a check, and she can eat. And but I just got to get her there because I sent Blaze back down here to the house to check on the girls and to swap his truck out for the Prius because I did not want Robyn to struggle to try to have to
get up into the truck.
Get up in there because I knew she wasn't going to let me pick her up because that was going to be a fight. And I didn't really want to have to try to pick her up as my eye was swelling from her punching me in the face when I went to pick her up.
Right.
So I just cut that one off at the curb, swoom, and sent Blaze. So there was no way for us to even get.
At that point, because we didn't even have a vehicle. And he looks up at me and can realize, like, I'm starting to wither away. And so the nurse was like, baby, let me get you some crackers and some peanut butter. And I was like, oh, thank you, dear Jesus. But here's the rub of it. And this, I never had this happen before, so I didn't know what I was in for. But I ate one cracker with the peanut butter, forced the other half of a cracker down. And I mean, we're talking about a cracker about that big. And a little thing of peanut butter, that big. And I ate 1.5 and I was done. I couldn't eat anymore. And for the last couple of days, it's been like that. I can only eat a little bit.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that's really worrying me is her appetite.
Everybody
is not
tells
back.
me that's completely normal.
I mean, she's eating less than she was eating on our first 3 or 4 dates.
Yeah, everybody's told me that it's completely normal, and it might take a couple weeks. No, Breakaway, hold on. They weren't sucky. It was good peanut butter and good graham crackers. It was like the Honey Maid graham crackers, and it was, what's the peanut butter? Like, it's the fancy peanut butter. But it was good stuff. And it was just, I just couldn't, I couldn't eat a lot. And to give you a good example, like, even if you say, snacks stink or whatever, the first night we did have crappy food. Like, we didn't have a menu planned this week, and so the girls are just kind of like throwing stuff in the wind to feed us. And so, like, last night we had a bowl of,
which is a good learning experience,
ground beef with butternut squash and peppers, and that was it. There was like, and it, like, just thinking about it right now is making me like, bleh. But I could only eat a little bit of it, and I just had to put it off to the side. And then but then that was the first night. Last night we had fried chicken strips and okra fries, and I ate a good portion of that.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. I had 4 chicken tenders, and I probably had 6 or 8 okra fries. And then I gave you my fried okra. But I ate the rest of everything that was on my plate. So, and then, like, today we went out and, so today, because I'm planning on going back to work on Monday. That's the goal. And so Jason felt that it was important for me to, the cash flow. And it was definitely a chore. But what ended up happening is, by just having that cracker, it was just enough to get me home. And then when we got home, they had the food ready. And like I said, I ate a couple of bites of ground beef, and then I was done. I had all I needed. And then, like, the next morning, I normally have coffee in the morning. didn't want coffee. Drank water all day, ended up with a really bad headache because I don't drink a lot of caffeine, but I do routinely drink coffee and then maybe one tea at dinner. So by not having any of that, it definitely exacerbated. Like if I had a little bit of a headache, it definitely made it worse. But the minute that I drank a really, like a half of one of these of some just unsweet tea, and it went away pretty quickly. So it was definitely caffeine headache. But that's the one thing that I'm still having. It's not really an issue. I'm just having to adapt to it right now. Is just the appetite thing, because I know I'm hungry, but after so much, I just don't want to eat anymore. And then it won't take long, maybe 2 hours, I'm hungry again. And so then I'll eat a little bit. So like the first day, I had the girls making me peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and they'd make me a full sandwich, and I'd only eat half of it. And so then they learned to only make me a half of a sandwich instead of a full sandwich. So that worked out. And so today, Jason we had to go grocery shopping. We had stuff we had to do. And so we went to Anderson. I took all the back roads. It was a little hairy. It was fine when I was just driving straight roads, but if we came, like when we got into Anderson and we were in intersections and stuff, I definitely white knuckled a little bit. The funniest, well, not, I mean, it's funny now, but at the time it was a little embarrassing. Yeah, that's fine. The bad part was, or I mean, I guess you can laugh at it now. At the time it was a little, like, my brain was like, this is really bad. We were in Sam's? No.
Yes. It happened in Sam's because you told me about it
after I got to the bathroom.
After we sat down, we took our bathroom break when we took the picture for the Big Bear Nation Facebook.
So we walked around, did basically a lap, and I was like, I need to go to the bathroom. And so I went to the bathroom, and he was sitting on the benches, and he was popped up ready to go, and I'm like, no, I need to sit down for a minute. So we sat down, took the picture, and I said, don't laugh. And I know this is strange, but is it bad that when I was pushing the cart and I came to the end of the aisle and somebody came up right to where the end of my aisle where my cart was, that I went into a full-blown panic? And he was like, no, it's completely normal. I'm like, but you don't understand. It's just a buggy. Like, it's not even a car. I'm literally pushing a buggy in a grocery store, and it freaked me out. Normally you're like, oh, sorry about that. But I was like, eyes. And the poor lady was like, she's like, it's okay. And I'm like, I'm fine. And I just pushed my buggy and went on my way. But, like, that to me was like, when we were driving in the car, I didn't even get like that. Like, it wasn't, and I think, April, I think you're right. I think it was the spook factor of catching me off guard, and I feel like that's probably going to happen. And another good example, the very first night, Jason had to watch me to make sure that I didn't, like, fall asleep for too long of a period of time. And we were sitting on the couch, and I was drifting off to sleep, and they were watching a WWE video from, like, Raw just had a reunion or something. And one of them, they did some kind of move or something, and I had just fallen asleep. And Jason, when Jason's watching stuff and he gets excited, he can get really loud. And he was like, boom, or something like that. And I come up out of the seat, like, freaking out. And Jason's like, what is wrong? I'm like, you're just really loud. You're just really loud. Can you please not do that right now? And normally I'm not like that. Like, I normally won't do that. I'll just, like, move or turn the TV down or something. I was like, I cannot have you do that right now. And you're like, what? I'm like, is it too loud? I'm like, no, you scared me. And of course, it's hard watching, you know, watching him go through it because I know how much he means to me. And I know that it had to rock his world. I know it was scary when Blaze had his accident. That's the other thing I wanted to talk about. So when we were in the hospital, Blaze drove Jason to the hospital. And Jason came in first. Blaze obviously went and parked the truck and came in. And Blaze walked up and saw me, and I don't know what I looked like at that point, but I'm sure I looked rough. And because I had my hair down, like my hair wasn't up or anything, my hair was probably tossed all over the place.
I was very upset that you weren't in a neck brace, because when I come walking in the door, you turned to look at me, but you didn't turn your head, so I could tell your neck was hurting because you did that.
It wasn't, okay, so let me explain from my thing. My neck was not hurting. My thing was, and understand this part was hurting. So for me to turn this, that connects right here. And so that's why I was guarded. It wasn't my neck, it was right here. And so that muscle that's right here, when I turned it, and I can feel it right now, when I turned that muscle right there, and because of how much it hurt at that point, my neck was moving fine. I didn't have any range of motion issues. None of this back here hurt because I didn't get hit this way. I got hit to the side. So, and really what I think happened with this is that there was a middle console right here, and I think I might have hit right there. And I think that's what happened. So, because they checked me when EMTs first got on scene. And actually, because I don't really know how all this works, I'm sure my firefighters or people can tell me this, but the firemen got there first. And I think the ambulance was not too far behind, if I remember correctly. But the first guy to come over and take a look at me had a fireman's hat on. It wasn't just a regular paramedic. So they came over and checked me first. And they looked me over real good to make sure I didn't have any like gashes and blood flowing everywhere and all that. And I didn't. I had a couple of little scratches, like cat scratches on my hand. And then I had some down on my leg from where the glass had been. And so it was just, so back to what I was getting at. So Blaze parked the truck and he came in and he looked at me and you could see his heart just fall to his feet. You could just see it. And I said, "You get it now, don't you?" And he looked at me and he's like, "You could have just kept yelling and giving me a guilt trip about the truck. Like, I would have been okay with that. I didn't need this." And I was like, "That's fine, but now you get it, don't you?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I said, "So, we're not going to do this anymore. Like, everybody's going to be super vigilant and careful when they're driving from now on." He's like, "Yes, ma'am." So, again, another thing that came out of this that was good was my son now completely, truly understands what we felt like. Like, when it happened, a couple days later, he was just, like, acting like everything was fine. And even though everything had worked itself out as far as insurance and all this other stuff, everything was good, it wasn't good. We still, to this day, when he doesn't show up to work on time or he doesn't call us right away to let us know that he made it to work on time, we get a little wary,
You panic.
Yeah. So, We
panic.
So anyway, that's the gist of what happened and what happened after. I'm noticing my soreness is starting to go away. Before, it was like, I don't want to say acute pain, but like I was very aware of having this pain. And one of the other things, yes, my car rolled 1.5 times. I think 1.5 times. I could be wrong about that. I was on my top. So, yes. But I had this like shooting nerve pain that was going down my right leg that first night. And it happened a little bit Thursday morning. But it went away. Now what I'm finding, and all of you people that have dealt with people like me, all of you nurses out there, know that this is another normal thing. I'll feel good, and so I'll get up and start moving around and doing stuff, and then I'll be exhausted. Like today. I've been soaking in Epsom salt baths, and it's definitely helping. We're putting essential oils in there as well to help with it. I've been using Deep Blue on my back. That's helping a lot. But what I'm finding is, and somebody made a comment about pain pills. I have not taken any pain pills. I didn't even fill the prescriptions that they gave us.
You take mine.
No, I just took ibuprofen. It's not...
That's
that you call that a pain pill, but it's basically an 800 milligram ibuprofen. That's all. But I've only taken that like two times a day. Didn't you have previous back or knee, etc. pain a few years ago? So yes, that was in my left leg. This was in my right leg. Left side of me feels good. Right side, I'm not hurting anymore. Now I'm aching. There's definitely a difference. Yeah, grunt candy, exactly. So that's basically where I'm at now, is I just ache on this side. So like today we kind of pushed through it a little bit. I brought an ibuprofen with me. So that pain from neck, nurses in here, so that pain from neck and back. Yeah, it was just, and it wasn't in my neck. I don't have it in my neck. It's literally...
You did.
For a small amount of time. But that was probably more stress than anything. This was really the worst part of it. And is still the worst part of it. Tim said her big pain is sitting right there next to her. I love Tim. He knows when to make me laugh. So, so I haven't been taking anything crazy. But so like today, when we went, yes, they did an ab scan. They did everything that they needed to do. Everything was good. So I just took an ibuprofen with me on the trip, anticipating that I was going to start hurting. So we got all the way to Anderson. I got a granola bar from QT, ate that, and then had the ibuprofen. And that did do okay. Got me through the pain while we were out shopping. Another really cool thing about today is Jason got to see what all I do to save us money when we go grocery shopping. He said, "This is a little bit exhausting. I can't imagine how you're feeling right now." I was like, so if you're feeling...
I mean, we had to sit down a couple times because my back started hurting.
Yeah. So we sat down a few times. We didn't overdo it. We, whenever I felt like I needed to sit down, I would say, "We need to sit down." So, okay, let's find a place to sit down. And we would. And then I would be like, "All right, I'm ready to go." And he's like, "No, just take another." "No, I'm good. Let's go." Okay. So we got back home, and again, everybody talks about gardens being therapeutic. As soon as we got to the house and I walked into the garden, immediately my pain and my stress was gone, because I'm seeing all this stuff that I need to pull and harvest. And I'm like, I start grabbing tomatoes, and I'm grabbing peppers, and I'm looking at beans. And Jason's like, "Robyn, go inside and take a bath." I'm like, "But there's tomatoes. I gotta pick the tomatoes." He's like, "Get in the house." And I'm like, "But I want to, but my bath's not ready yet." And he's like, "Get in the house and sit down and just relax." Okay.
I could tell you were in a lot of pain.
So... But there's something about the dirt. Like, I just wanted to be out there in the garden.
Right, but I knew the pain was in your back, and you did not need to be bending over, doing this, bending over, doing that.
And that's true. That is true. So I did. I went and, so then I went inside, took a bath, relaxed. And here's the thing. I went from feeling like I was completely spent. Because when I got in the bathtub, I was like, and so I relaxed, and I don't know about y'all, but for me, it is painful trying to sit in a bathtub, even on a good day. It takes longer to fill the bathtub than it does for me to sit in the bath. It's really, that's bad. And I understand that, and so I try to, like, take my phone in or something to be able to watch something, because that's the only way I can get myself completely, like, not aware of the fact that I'm sitting in a bathtub. And even, like, today, maybe
not long
7
enough.
minutes,
Not
8 minutes, and I was like, I'm done, I can't sit in here anymore. And part of it was because the water was so hot, and we didn't have the air conditioning on because it was nice out today, so there was no point in running the AC, but that meant that there was no air running. And so because the bath was so hot, it was like steam in there. And so it was just a little bit too much for me. And so I went ahead and I got out. But the good thing is that afterwards I laid down for 30 minutes, 40 minutes maybe. One episode of Supernatural, 45 minutes maybe. And then I was like, okay, I'm up, I'm good. And I was recharged. So
then you started messing with reap what you sow.
So what I'm seeing, and this is the praise, is that the first day or two was rough. My bounce back time took longer. So now my bounce back time is a lot quicker. So hopefully soon I won't have as much of I won't need a bounce back time. So that's where we're at now. I'm still, like I said, I get achy. But, and again, I'm one of these, I don't want to take anything if I don't have to. So, like today, the only ibuprofen I took was when we were shopping. I haven't taken another one.
You took one while we were shopping?
Well, right before we went, like, when I went to QT, I took it then, and that was it.
Oh, you didn't tell. The first time or the second time?
Just one time.
No, the first time we went to the QT or the second time we went to the QT?
I only went to QT once.
I thought we went and got drinks.
No, that we went to
So you were...
Uncle Charlie's. So I what?
Nothing.
No, wait, no. Make sure you understand.
You were already at the level of... So you were lying to me. You were
No.
already at the level of pain that
No.
you felt you needed to take that pill.
No. I took the pill knowing what we were getting ready to do for the next 2 hours. Yes.
Oh.
I took it preemptive.
So you took the pill so you could push through and...
No. Don't, you're not going to spin this. You're not. I did it to loosen everything up because I knew how it was going to be. So I know on a good day sometimes my lower back will hurt from walking around in bad shoes. And so I knew that it was going to be one of those days. So yeah, so ibuprofen is an anti-inflammatory, so that's why I took it. Hoping to, help those muscles not be as inflamed as they were. So, all right, well, it is 8:58.
Yeah, it is.
Green Dream project is getting ready to go on next. I thank all of y'all. Comfrey salve. I need to start growing comfrey. I have lamb's ear, and I don't know if that's comparable to comfrey. I know it's really good for bleeding, but I don't know about for pain. We've been using like Copaiba and things like that, so everything's been working out pretty well. I just take the ibuprofen just as a kind of a preemptive kind of thing. So...
Okay, so as of right now, we are still planning on going to the Homesteading Life conference. If Robyn gets worse, we may change that. I think she's going to be okay. I hope she's going to do okay, but I'm still going to watch her like a hawk. So this weekend, Sunday, Monday, right?
Oh. Well, thank you.
I was just thinking about where in the world is Single Dad Homesteading. Thank you for that, Chris.
Appreciate it, Chris. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Show up at the end of the live stream. Love you. What was I talking about? Homesteading Life Conference. We will be heading there. We are sharing an Airbnb with Single Dad Homestead. So we may pop live together, his channel, my channel. We may go live at the same time, both our channels, just to do a YouTube first. I don't know. It's going to be fun. We're looking forward to seeing everybody.
Yeah, he's been watching. He's just been working.
Don't.
No, I saw him at the beginning. He commented.
Don't have his 6.
At least I thought I did.
Don't have his 6. So we're looking forward to that. And then after that one, we get a little bit of a break. And then we have the Homesteaders of America conference. The Thursday before the conference, I am putting on a hands-on class about predator control. You've been doing that all day. I mean, how big is a greenhouse, home?
You saw it?
It ain't that big.
Yes, it is.
It ain't that big.
Whatever.
He
wasn't demoing. He was saving parts. You have to take longer.
He's been out there sunbathing most of the day. Drinking a little pineapple drink or something. But
no, it's hot outside. You know what he was drinking. Pineapple juice.
Homesteaders of America.
Yep.
Hands-on class on predator control. Be there or be square. And at the HOA...
And who are you staying at with the HOA?
The next question is who you staying at?
Uh-huh.
The HOA, we are bunking up with Roots and Refuge, Single Dad Homestead, and then we're having a barbecue there, I believe.
I don't know.
I
have no idea. I would love to see that class.
Come on and sign up for it. As far as I know, nobody has signed up for it yet, so be the first.
Yeah, I don't know.
You'll learn a lot. Breakaway Homestead took it last year. Email him, ask him how the class was.
Well, we know it's helped him because it's empowered him. He's had a couple of predator issues, and he's been able to handle them. So
and had the tools to do it.
And had the tools to do it. Yeah, absolutely.
And
I'm not going.
well, how do you say his name?
Noah's Ark.
Is that Noah's Ark?
Yep.
I can't.
1962.
Noah's Ark 1962. We may be having that class here on our homestead later in the year. We haven't completely thought about it yet too much. So, okay, guys. Well, 9:00.
Green Dream Project.
Green Dream Project is coming on. If you guys have any questions for Robyn, please feel free to email them, text us, whatever. I want to thank everybody that has donated to our PayPal. You guys have shown us a lot of love, and we truly appreciate it. All of the funds that was donated will be going towards monthly bills, because Robyn did, as of right now, she missed 2 days and counting of work. So thank you very much. Those of you that have been watching our videos and letting the ads go through, thank you very much. That helps us out tremendously. That helps us out tremendously even in the long run of things, because that will tell YouTube that people actually like our stuff and they'll share it more. So that has a long-term effective help. So thank you. Don't forget, when you say your prayers this evening, do not forget the Stivers family. They are going through a heck of a thing right now. And thank you to everybody that shared our live stream to try to get us up to 100 tonight. I think we got to like 80 at one point. We appreciate it. And paying it forward, let's go on over to Green Dream Project and see what he's talking about tonight. Is he on?
Probably. I haven't gotten a notification.
So I seen him in here a second. So
no, he's on.
He's on?
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody head on over there. Remember to plant smiles.
Grow giggles.
And let's harvest some love. Recycle, repurpose, reuse, and you guys be kind to one another. You guys are doing a great job at it, but I still say it every time. So, good night, everybody.
Good night, y'all. Thanks for everybody checking up on me.
We'll see you this weekend. Homesteading Life.
Night, y'all.
Hannibal, Missouri. Be there or be square.